Me and my brother, we used to sleep in the living room with my mom's, in the same bed at my grandma's house. Like, we didn't have a room. We was young, 6th grade, flipping quarters, shooting free throws for dollars, buy all the 25-cent bags of hot Cheetos, fill the backpack up, go to school selling for 50 cents. Once we got to a certain age, it was like we were twins. A lot of the things that I got into or opportunities that I seen was from my bro, from little bro. Like, you know, he stole computer parts and then he bring it in the bedroom. We share the bedroom. I'm like, man, get this junk out of here. I'm building a computer. I'm like, bro, shut the fuck up. You building a computer. He came back, I think, one day from high school with like $300. He was certified gifted as a little kid. Anybody that was around him, his charisma, he always stood out. People always were like, nah, this guy's special. When he got out of high school, we was able to just really get to it and adapt. And my brother had put me on a CD game, and it just, you know, took off. Like, all right, I'm trying to peel a million out of this. But eventually somebody probably called in or did something where they started investigating. I'm like, all right, took everything out the house, buried the bread, buried probably like $250
in cash.
Yep. The foundation of what we doing, it doesn't last when you're doing anything illegal or you're on the street. So Hustle was like, nah, this is what we're gonna do. This clothing gonna be big. It's gonna be one of the biggest things we do watch. When I first heard him write something, I couldn't believe it. I was like, you wrote this? He like, yeah. I'm like, oh, okay, this is special. Anytime Nip would pull up, it's like Michael Jackson pulled up in the hood.
Gotcha.
So many people from the neighborhood was inspired. Somebody came, said one disrespectful thing, Hustle, take his chains off, and squabbling. Mandatory respect. And at the same time, leading by example, I always felt that God was protecting, and basically we felt like nothing could happen.
Oh, these y'all over here?
Yeah, so this section at the top is all us. As far as fulfillment, this whole area is Marathon's area.
Oh, man. Hey, man, you know what's crazy about this right here? Is the people that work here, they probably got a gang of shirts at the house.
Oh, yeah. For sure. You see them walking around with a Marathon shirt like, nah, it's good.
You're like, oh, y'all taking inventory and shit?
Right.
All right, now. This is a very special off air for me, bro. We've done many, but this is like one that's real, extremely personal to me. And sitting down with you, Sam, bro, like for one, first of all, I got to thank you for your time, because I know this is not what you do. You know what I'm saying? And we had a chance, you know, just off the phone, out of the limelight, man. You know, we have great conversations,
100%.
And we treat each other as men and as human beings, bro. So I know that your time is very precious, so thank you for allowing me to come down here and sit with you, bro.
100%, man. I appreciate you, you know, thinking to have me on the show, man. 100%.
I appreciate it, man.
You know.
Sam, were you born in LA, raised in LA? What's the background for Brother Sam?
Yeah, born here, LA. My pops is from Africa.
Yes, sir.
I think he came to New York when he was 17. And then I think he came to LA when he was like maybe 20, 21.
What was it like just like growing up, man? Because you know, there's a lot of things that's in the household, you know what I'm saying? And plus with, you know, the family being extremely rooted, what was it like growing up for you though?
Growing up was good. You know, moms and pops was together a couple years and then split. So for me and bro, we was really, our whole childhood was probably with moms at a granny house. Okay. And then pops, you know, on the weekends or every other weekend. So childhood was good. It was tight-knit with my grandma, my grandfather on my mother's side, and my mom, you know, my uncle.
So it was good, like what we call real family structure.
You know, 100%.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So with good family structure, man, was there always music kind of in the household, or?
Yeah.
And if it was, you know, what kind of music?
Yeah, 100% oldies. You know, Grandma, Al Green, Marvin Gaye. You know, my mom, 94.7 The Wave.
Yes, sir.
100%. That was.
Now, Sam, are you the oldest when it comes to brothers and sisters?
Yeah.
All righty. And what's the breakdown?
I'm about 82. I'm 3 years older than my brother, and my sister, I'm like maybe like 10. I believe 10 years old, yeah.
Was it, and just in the household, because like we grew up, man, it was 7 of us as far as kids. Single parent though. My mom took care of us, but we did everything in house. We didn't have 5,000 channels.
Right.
We didn't have money. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Was it kind of the same with you guys, just kind of in the household where you understood the family dynamic and were y'all always tight with each other?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. I think me and my brother, we used to sleep in the living room with my mom's.
Yeah.
In the same bed at my grandma's house. Like, we didn't have a room. So we was tight-knit, moms on it, working, making sure. And then she saved up some money and bought a house like maybe 2 blocks down.
Mm-hmm.
A couple more than 2 blocks on 60th Street, but really like 5 minutes drive from my grandma's house. So when she moved out into her house, then it was me, my mom, and my brother.
Right.
And then she had my sister. And then so now we in the household, it's a little more struggle because his mom's got bills and doing things on her own. But yeah, we had to make do.
How old are you around that time?
I think I may have been I was in the 5th grade.
Hey man, 5th grade, about 10 years of age, man. At that time, do you notice the struggle?
Probably not at that time, but when we moved over there and then, it's moms on their own, we start noticing it. Because it's, you go into high school.
Yeah, man.
You go into junior high, 6th grade, and then now you want the new Jordans, you want you seeing everybody else, what they have, and so that's probably right around the time where you start realizing like, oh, okay.
We don't have it.
Right.
Yeah, man. Did you always know that you wanted to get it?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, early on, huh?
100%. We was young, 6th grade, flipping quarters, shooting free throws for dollars.
Yeah, so that hustle had always been in your kind of in your bloodline.
Yeah, 100%. I think my mom, was always trying to look and put us in a positive situation. So she had found like a magnet school, a medical magnet. It happened to be in Watts. So she telling me it's a medical magnet. So I'm going out there thinking it's a medical magnet. It was like 10% of the school was medical magnet.
Right,
the other
right.
90 was, the public school. So it was in Markham Middle School.
Yeah.
So,
So were you in the magnet program, or she told you that there's a magnet school?
She said it's a magnet school, but I'm in the magnet program.
Right, okay.
At the school.
So had you been studious growing up?
Yeah, we was, I was going to school earlier, probably, my mom was working at Kaiser Permanente. So I was going to school. I was going to one of the schools by...
Which one, on La Cienega, or which Kaiser was she there?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I believe so. And then so I was going to school, what's it called? Carthay Center.
Okay.
It's over there. So the change from there, from 5th to Markham, 6th, we had to learn pretty quick, but it was good, like, learning, hustling,
man.
Making sure if we wanted the kicks, we got them. Hustle came to the same school also. So that was like the grounds to, make sure that we kind of knew how to get what we needed.
Early on, could you see the responsibility of being the oldest sibling early on? Yep. And what did that consist of?
I think just, trying to make sure that lead by example, and then also probably being overprotective. You know what I'm saying? But once we got to a certain age, it was like we were twins, damn near. Like, when you get to a certain age, it's like he dealing with the same things I'm dealing with. It's not like older or younger. It's like we on the same level. He going, sharpen my steel, and I'm gonna try to sharpen also. So
you and Nip had always been extremely close?
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah. Same with like me and my brother Mouse, man. We were, if you saw one, you saw the other.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot that I learned from my older brothers. Like Keith was my brother that really introduced me to music. Like looking at notes and looking at credits and listening to certain sounds and not knowing that I was paying a tuition into the School of Experience for the profession that I'm in now, with loving music, knowing how to talk, knowing how to go beyond what I'm listening to. So that was like kind of almost like a finishing school for me. Early on, did you know, and when you look back now, did you know that you were paying a lot of tuition into the School of Experience with, you know, flipping quarters and making dollar shots and things of that nature?
Yeah, I think, you know, when we was going through it, definitely not. But I think in hindsight, we both kind of appreciated that we had to kind of like figure it out on our own. And, you know, we gained that edge young. So, you know, when we was in high school and then got out of high school, we was able to just really get to it and adapt in a way that a lot of our friends that had were not able to. So definitely, in hindsight, you know, we always appreciate the struggle.
Man, tell me about like when you guys do kind of go back home and see where Pops is from. What was that journey like, and about how old are you around that time?
Yeah, I think that was 2004. So for me, I want to say maybe like I'm 22, and Hussle was probably 19.
Did you want to make that trip?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I did. You know, the backstory, my father was, you know, always telling us, like, I'm gonna take you guys home. So it was always in our head, but, you know, due to circumstances, we never end up making it out there. And at this point, I'm on the run.
Right.
Or, you know, I'm feeling like I need to get out. I had a couple dollars. And so shit hit the fan a little bit. I'm like, I need to get low. I immediately just popped in my head like, all right, this the perfect time.
This is it.
Yep. So I hit Pops like, hey, Pops, get the tickets.
Right.
Right now.
Hey, man, and when you say you're on the run, man, like, I want to talk about also like Neighborhood Sam, you know, the hustle part of you as well. Because you know how they say, man, I'm my brother's keeper. That was you, right? Early on. I
think I was just, you know, honestly speaking, man, I just tried to do my part. Hustle, you know, really a lot of the things that I got into or opportunities that I seen was from my bro.
Right.
From little bro. Like, you know, he was always, you know, he was sharp and he always seen opportunity. So we was always hustlers, but he would always come up with it and we'd be like, and then he'll put me on it. And then I just try to take it to my level that I could take it to, and him also. So we was both, you know, we was both doing our thing. And I think for me, it was just, how can I add value? And, you know, to speak on what you're talking about, music, he always had a love for music since he was young. And, you know, we would have money, he would just go and spend it all on, you know, Source magazines and this and buying CDs. And I'm like, bro, save your money. But that was his passion. And moving forward, when we get older, you know, when you don't have, you want to get money and you want to get to it. But it come to a point when you getting money, what's the next level?
Yeah.
And, you know, what do you do with it? And I think he had the vision and he was like, look, this is what we gonna do. You know, this is what I'm doing, this is what I started. You know, this is the label, he had the books, you know, Master P did it like this is how we gonna take what we doing in the streets. And so that really gave me the direction to like have something to go to.
But you had already been doing your thing, but kind of away from music.
Yeah.
And not to dime anything out, but that, because I know that it was like the bootleg CDs, and you know, and so was that a great hustle for you as well?
Yeah, 100%. I think at that point for me it was like the new dope game.
Yeah,
it was new. Nobody was doing it. The profit margin on it was like shocking. Couldn't believe it.
So Sam, what was it? It was CDs, DVDs.
Yep.
CDs,
DVDs.
Was it? You know how people run into, you know, the barber shop, somebody selling something?
Right.
Was that probably something, but you were doing mass distribution?
Yeah, I think it started off just hustling. You know, I used to work at a restaurant called the Bayou Grill in Inglewood, and I was right there cooking, and then I was at the counter. So I was the young dude. My brother worked there with me too. I was the young dude at the counter that would, all the hustlers, all the niggas selling dope, everybody would come through and they would see me back there, you know, tighten me up, give me some game. I would observe a lot. So anybody coming through the Bayou Grill that had anything for sale, I was the dude behind the counter with a wad of money buying it. So from anything, you know, not to be speaking like that, but niggas that had pounds and had this and had that, I'm buying it and trying to flip it at the spot, you know. And the chip phones, the
Uh-huh,
phones
hell
at that
yeah.
time that was going, how many you got? 15, give them to me. And then I have them. And so I was hustling there. And my brother had put me on the CD game. So I had the CDs there, and I had whatever I could have there. And eventually one of the guys in there came in and had the DVDs. That's right when the DVD burner came out.
Right.
You know, I think the DVD burner was like $700 for one burner. And so he had the DVDs, and people was just transitioning from VHSs. Really nobody had DVDs in their household. So he kind of put me up on what it was, and he's selling them for $20, and he's making them for $1.
Oh,
and so I'm like,
so you're looking at that profit margin like, shoot, it's better than any other game right now.
100%. And that's how I got into that. And then it just, you know, took off like crazy. I used to be, you know, I had a spot on my off days. I used to be making $800-900 a day. Then people
Were you
come
still
through.
trying to keep the job?
Yeah, I was
Why?
still working. That was my sister Pop's
okay.
restaurant. So, and I was kind of like one of the main ones in there. I felt like keeping it, you know, keeping it afloat. So I didn't just want to, but it came to a point where it was too much going on, too much traffic.
Right.
Because everybody would be hitting me on my off, like, where you at? I'm like, pull up, you know. And so I'm in the back, and they end up, you know, telling me like, hey, you can't be doing this up
like,
here.
all these customers, nobody eating.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I said, like, buy something, you know. So I end up having to part ways and just full time, 7 days a week.
And then you going, even more so.
1,500, 2,500, 3,500 a day, 7 days a week, nonstop, all day long. Then I had people buying wholesale from me. You know, I used to be at this Vines parking lot in Inglewood. I used to have a line looking like a McDonald's line. People just, I'm in the trunk, you know. But that was, you know, in hindsight, looking at it, that was God blessing me with an opportunity that was rare. And everybody used to come through, the people I know, like, hey, bro, this shit is crazy. Like, we see you. I just watched you make like $400-500 in 10 minutes, and you out here all day, every day, 7 days a week, man. This shit don't happen. Don't stop. Don't take no lunch breaks. Don't. This shit is different. So,
and this is all cash.
Yeah, all cash. You know, I used to walk around. I have sweatpants with zippers that I made. I used to have the 20s and the 50s and the 100s in this pocket, looking like this. I used to have the 5s and the 10s in this pocket. That's the change. And you just be in there.
Hey, man, you know how sometimes when we caught up in it, did you ever think about this could be over?
Yeah, I think my goal, especially once I started making as much as I was making, I'm like, all right, I'm trying to peel a million out of this. That's why I'm there 7 days a week. I'm not taking no breaks. I'm there 20 hours a day. I'm going, making my
So by that time, did you have multiple burners?
Yeah, we went all in. I got 27 stack burners. I got other people burning stuff for me. You know, it's just taking it to the next level. We wholesaling, just trying to get to that level. And you know, people also, I'm in somebody's hood. I'm getting money. They seeing it. So those niggas coming up there trying to rob me. I'm up there with a pistol, bulletproof. I'm in the rain with pneumonia, with an umbrella.
Yeah, man.
Because I'm looking at if I'm not there, I'm losing 2,500 or 1,500 on a slow day. So, you know, everything happened for a reason, and the only thing that could have stopped me from being there 7 days a week was, you know, them coming in and trying to. Motion Picture Association ended up coming in trying to.
Damn.
Yeah, trying to blitz and trying to open up a case on me. And
so how do they find you if you're in the parking lot and you can ghost out? Yeah, they found you though. Huh?
Yeah, I think you know, it was like cat and mouse after a while. Like every day, police would pull in. I used to have the lookouts. You know, they'd be like, Sam. So I slam the trunk and just go inside. It's lunchtime when the police come and they come back out. But eventually somebody probably called in or did something where they start investigating. Motion Picture Association came out. They had like a squad, and you know, then they blitzed. I end up, you know, tussling and getting away. But then one of my partners that I know, he was a sheriff. He's like, hey, look, it's some new shit going on. They getting task force, and if the motion picture come out, they open the file on you. Like, did they take pictures? I'm like, yeah, they was snapping pictures of license plates. He's like, oh, they coming.
Damn.
They gonna open the file on you, they coming. So that's what led to. I'm like, all right, took everything out the houses, wherever the addresses was at, granny's house, mom's, took the bread, buried the bread.
Yeah,
you know
I know. And how much did you bury?
Buried probably like 250,
in cash.
Yep.
And then when you buried the 250, did you get popped at that time? Did you get popped for any of the copyright in that?
Yeah, I got arrested one time, bailed out.
Of course.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So now I'm fighting the case, and then now I'm back in, take a little minute out of my spot. I'm still, trying to get the bread, get to the money, but looking, the spot kind of quieted down. My people like, the police stopped coming through here, so then I'm back at the same spot.
So when you were saying things were hot, you was talking about that hot, not neighborhood hot.
Oh, no.
Just
No.
that CD. And
Yeah.
Okay.
As far as like me needing to feel like I need to get up out of there.
Yeah.
That's because I felt like it was an open case on me.
Yeah, man.
They was about to hit the house, and the spot was all like they going through there every day. The location I was at. So I'm like, all right, it's time to go. Like,
So you buried the 250, and then you go to Africa.
Yep.
How long are you in Africa?
We in Africa for like 2.5 months.
Oh, so you had what was that experience like?
It was crazy. I think we had to wrestle Nip to go with us.
Right, because he didn't want to go.
He getting
Was
money.
Nip with you in the when you were doing the CDs and DVDs and
No.
everything at a distance?
And Nip was doing his thing.
Right.
He was hustling. He was getting money a lot of different ways. He put me up on that CD thing a long time ago when he was in high school. He actually built the computer, young, with the burner in it, and was showing me. I was like, man, he's bringing backpacks full of equipment. He stole computer parts, and then he bring it in the bedroom. We share the bedroom. I'm like, bro, get this shit up out of here, man. I'm clean. I wanted my shit clean.
Right.
I'm like, get this junk out of here. I'm building the computer. I'm like, bro, shut the fuck up. You building the computer. So he built it, and that motherfucker was working, and then he stole a CD burner. He got one, and he put it in, and he showed me, and he came back, I think, one day from high school with like $300. And so this is the time I'm flipping burgers still. I'm making like 60, 70 a day. He's like, yeah, I made 300 today, man. And I'm
Off of
CDs. Yeah. All the news, he was telling me, I go to Napster, I get it before it comes out. I got a list. Then he showed me these lists. He like, I got another 300-400 orders that I'm burning today to get to school. So I was just, now I'm like, all right, show me. And so now he showed me everything. And
that wasn't junk anymore, huh?
It's not junk. And at this point, he was still kind of shorter than me. So I'm like, all right, this mine. I took over so he was mad. We arguing back and forth.
You take over the enterprise?
I'm taking over this burner for a minute, but no, I always joke and laugh. Like, man, he any hustle we was ever on, me, everybody, our friends that we grew up with, bro was the visionary and brought it to the team.
From an early age.
From an early age, man. Early age.
Damn. So when you see that there is this lucrative thing that can go on, and Nip is already on it,
right?
And you take it and you say, man, it went from trash to treasure, and it becomes your thing.
Right.
You go for 2.5 months to Africa. You bury the money before you bounce.
Yeah.
You come back home.
Yep.
And where was the money buried at?
In my mom's backyard.
In the mom backyard. Did you see that on like some movie or some shit or?
Probably growing up, but I think for me it was like, we in the hood, and I don't want nobody when I'm gone breaking in the house and stealing the money or breaking into Granny's house, or even if the police come,
right,
they hit the house when so my thing was like, man, what can I do? So it was immediately I'm finna get a shovel. It took a lot longer than I thought. I'm trying to dig as deep as I can without sweating and passing out, but I got it probably like good 6-7 feet deep.
Damn.
Rolled the motherfucker safe in there.
What was the money in? It was like $250,000.
Yeah,
what was it in?
It was wrapped in plastic, like sandwich bags. Each 1,000, we had it wrapped up, rubber band over each 1,000.
It took time.
Yeah, it had been like that in the safe.
Right, gotcha.
But that's how it was. Really, the safe was already, it was rubber band up, but then once it got into that hole, I'm thinking, and this is to anybody who don't know, I'm thinking I buy a waterproof and fireproof safe. That shit is not waterproof.
Yeah, so you come home.
Yeah.
Do you dig the 6-7 feet yourself again?
Yeah, 100%.
So you dig your safe out. What happened?
Yeah, and I'm digging for hours and hours, pulling my hair out because I'm not hitting the safe.
Right.
And so I'm thinking somebody went in there and got it. And finally, I'm praying like, man, finally I hit this, and I'm like, oh. And then it took me probably like another 4 hours to get it wedged out. Because it's
Damn.
in there, I gotta go head first, and I'm trying to flip it around to get to the, and then finally when I get the part with the combination and the key, I forget the combo. So now I'm trying to play with it for another hour, and finally I open it, and when I open it, it's filled up with water.
Yeah, man.
And so then I'm just like, I ain't never had no breakdown. I'm just sitting there, I could lose it. I just take everything out, put it in the duffel bag, get out, running the house. I'm going crazy. My mom is like, what's going on? Let's go in the bathroom. She's like, what the fuck is going on with you? What's the matter with you? And then I'm just trying to figure out like how I salvage it. The money was molded, wet. Each stack was like falling apart. When you pull it apart, it was just crumbling. So moms went and got blow dryers for me, and then so I just went in the bathroom and was peeling them off little by little, putting them to the side and blow drying them till they get back hard, so they wouldn't break. And then bro came in, helped me, moms helped me, pops came, helped.
Yeah.
And so we was just in there separating them and trying to salvage as much of it as we could.
You put $250 in.
Yeah.
How much you lose?
Probably like a good, maybe like good 50 was just like
Gone.
like you couldn't do nothing with it, broke all up. The rest of the money we salvaged, and it was just smelt like shit, fucked up on the edges. But you know, this was like we counted it up and was like, all right, this is what we got. And then it was the campaign, like man, we went Knicks check cashing. How many stores they got in this area?
Yeah.
We got the map. It's 50 of them. Everybody 2,000, go. And we just get money orders. Money orders, 2,000. It came to a point where we couldn't even walk into the
Knicks.
to the Knicks. As soon as we get in the line, they're like, oh, hell no, get the fuck out the store. That money, that bullshit ass money stinks. So we was banned from the Knicks. Everybody from the Knicks all over the city, if anybody working them Knicks, they remember us.
Damn.
And we was coming through with the 2,000, trying to get $2,000 money orders.
And so you know you lost 50 off the top. And then the other was stanky money.
Yep.
But you were able to get that back. So you lost 250 complete. I mean, 50 complete.
Yeah, 50 was
And
like...
that's 50 real ones.
Yep, 50 real ones, man. And it was all the 100 stacks.
Damn.
The 100 stacks be just 10 bills. It was the 5s, the 20s, and the 10s that survived, because the top, it was 1,000, but the top 2 bills would go to waste. The bottom 2 bills would go to waste. So when it's a 5, a 10, or a 20, you may lose like $40. On them 100 stacks, you lose the faux top and the faux bottom. That's the whole 1,000 gone. So it was the low denominations that we were able to save, which was good. And it was good that, you know, a lot of the bills was low bills. So
where do you go from there though? Once you dig it up and you do all the nicks and try to get it back, what's the next so-called hustle that comes? Because is the other game gone now?
The other game is not gone at this point, but it's different, and I'm hot. And you know, my goal was, for number one, I'm not spending shit.
Right.
So at this point, I'm not spending nothing. I'm in the bucket, you know, I'm not spending nothing. But we had one good Christmas, made sure that the fam got cars and everybody was good. And after that, I'm not spending nothing. And at this point, it was like, we gotta spend it. So now it was like, what we gonna spend it with? And Hustle was getting money. Hustle was like, look, this is what we need to do. So he like, man, I'm putting everything I got in it. Let's throw some money at it too. So that's when we went, and that's when we on the jewelry, and we spending money on certain things and really building the label up. You know, all equipment. You know, we bought a spot, got another spot in Atlanta. We just going trying to, like, you know, build the infrastructure and get the team right.
So Nip already got them. He already got the music bug and already got thinking music business.
100%.
So take what we have and put it into music. Put it into, you know, the dream.
Yep, 100%.
Did you trust that early on? Because you had already seen it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, I trusted it because, like I used to tell everybody this, but him also, when I first heard him write something, I couldn't believe it. You know, I was like, you wrote this? He like, yeah. I'm like, oh, okay, this is special. And so, you know me, I'm like, shit, my brother wrote that? So I start trying to write some shit. Man, I'm writing for 2 weeks, and I just threw the shit away. I ain't got it, so
man, at certain points, did it feel like Baby Bro was leading Big Bro?
No, 100%.
Yeah.
100%, man. 100%. And, you know, even since we was young, we always knew he was, like, special. And, you know, it was always for the older brother, you know, it's an honor that my little brother is doing, you know, things that I can be proud of.
Right.
And just, you know, never failed, man, since we was little. Just
So you
always.
saw how special how special Nip was before the world knew how special he was.
100%. I think anybody at this time, a lot of people ask me this question, like, man, when did he? And I'd be telling them it wasn't no when, it was always. Anybody that was around him from young, he was certified gifted as a little kid. Anybody that was around him, his charisma, he always stood out. People always were like, no, this guy's special. From a little kid to junior high to high school to, you know, in the neighborhood, the homies.
Yeah.
Everybody like, no, this dude is special. Everybody, you know, Nip led. You know what I'm saying? And people followed and respected and looked up to. Older, young, it didn't matter. They knew.
Who tapped into the neighborhood first?
Hustle.
Oh, really?
For sure, Hustle. You know, I'm young, and I'm going to school in Watts before him. So as far as like knowing about hoods and gang LA culture, I was exposed to that first, going to Watts and going to school at Markham, outside of our neighborhood and what we saw. But once, you know, obviously Nip get older, Nip in our neighborhood, which I never wanted him to be a part of.
Right.
You know, honestly, you know, anybody, and I say this, anybody that grow up and understand, you don't want your little bro being a part of, you know, some shit that you know is destructive. My goal was always, we gotta get this bread and we gotta get the money and we gotta, you know, we need to make sure that we own. So, you know, seeing Hustle and me not being able to do anything about it either.
Right.
You know, it's like, man, you know, only thing I could do at a point, it came to a point where Hustle was so deep in and so involved and so much going on around him in the neighborhood, with the politics in the neighborhood. It's like, all right, now, you know, I gotta be there with bro, and I gotta be, and people need to understand, like, yeah, this is his bro, and his bro is here, and, you know, if nobody else is tripping, I'm tripping. And Nip had a certain unit, and that was our unit. But yeah, definitely Hustle.
Were you always concerned when you start seeing him going down a certain path? Because you already know, man, like, dude, he's studious, he reading books, he building computers, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And then there's always a time where we got some of this and some of that, you know, and he had this and he had that. Were you concerned when you saw Nip kind of getting in a lot more?
Yeah, 100%.
What would you tell him? Would you tell him, like, man, you got this music, or he just wasn't listening?
I think at that point, we was all trying to get money. You know, Hustle was getting to the money, but at the same time, he was associating and hanging out, and, you know, I'm like full time, get the money. Hustle was half and half. And, you know, the other half could get you, you know, going for a long time. So that was the dynamic at that time. Once it, you know, transitioned into full-time Hustle trying to do the music, that's where I felt like, okay, this is the opportunity. Right. And honestly, this is what now, okay, whatever I can add to this, whatever I can help with in any way I wanna be there and support, because this is the direction that I know. Number one, bro is super talented. Like, I tell him, like, man, if you wasn't talented, bro, I'd have told you, like, come on, man, let's do something else. This ain't gonna work. But, you know, I full-heartedly believe, and I know that this is his calling, and this is something that's, you know, channeling his energy in the correct way.
Could you believe how talented he was early on? Like, when you say he wrote a rap, you was like, dude, you wrote that?
Yep.
Like, did he always amaze you?
Yep, always amazed me, and you know, everything. That's what I tell everybody, man. Everything I ever heard from him, everything was special, and I was surprised. So, you know, me, Fats, you know, my cousin Adam, everybody, our inner core team was like fully behind Hustle. You know.
Did you feel like he had to put a circle around him too?
Yeah, 100%. He had a tight crew, and then so I wanted to make sure that I, came with and helped build the circle and just make sure that, you know, yeah, we from this area, but it's crews within the area. And you know what I'm saying, niggas need to understand that our crew and Hustle crew is one of them crews. And you know what I'm saying? So that was the goal. And you know, that was the people that you see today, that's all money in, you know, that was the crew. That was the crew before anything that people understood and knew, like, all right, this is Hustle crew, and you know, it's gonna be consequences behind it.
And this is like, we make it or we don't. This isn't a group of people that somebody got on and you just started adding to it.
100%. This is the crew when them hood politics start coming, and when motherfuckers start being like, you on your own. This crew is not with that.
Right.
This crew is like there.
Did you feel like you had to go a little harder in because you had to make sure that nobody did fuck with y'all? Like it had to turn you into a little bit more of, like, man, you can't fuck with this.
I think Hustle led by example, and Hustle was known for that. And both the Fats and Kabi and everybody that, you know, Stone, Hustle main crew, Hoggy, you know, that's what the crew was known for off the top. So I think, to answer your question, yes, if you know, that's just anybody in any crew.
Right.
So either you're gonna be respected or you're not gonna be respected.
Yeah.
So, you know, we was on Crenshaw Slauson.
Yeah, man.
You know, we had the shops. We lost them. You know, we had spots all up and down Slauson. Weed spots. You know, we had a lot going on, and yes, it had to be known, and it was known. Like we ain't them. We not the guys that, you know, the older dudes is coming through trying to extort. It's not happening.
Right.
You know, we not the guys that's going for anything. You know, it's too many times that I can't even speak about. Somebody came, said one disrespectful thing. Hustle, take his chains off, squabbling.
Yeah, man.
So people knew, don't say nothing to Hustle, and that's if Hustle was around all his crew or was solo.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So,
intense on everything. Intense on the music. Intense on the hustle. Intense on the street. Intense. Yeah. So.
100%. That was Hustle.
Yeah, man.
That was Hustle, man. That's why he was respected. That's why the young kids in the neighborhood loved bro. You know, they seen him pull up solo, you know, in the bulletproof, hop out, all the jewelry, you know, on Victoria, on Bryanhurst. And, you know, certain people say the wrong thing, Hustle in the middle of the street, squabbing. You know, mandatory respect. And at the same time, leading by example and providing inspiration. You know, people seeing Hustle do it. They know Hustle was there with them. They know Hustle sold dope with them. And they see Hustle. And then when he talk, they listen, and he giving you game. He like, look, this is what you need to do. You know, so many people from the neighborhood was inspired first, you know, hands-on, and also from other neighborhoods, you know, from so-called neighborhoods that was enemies. You know, they to this day, man, people be, you know, seeing me, or even they would see bro and just be like, man, you know, I'm from Wooty-Woo, but man, like we got our shop and we started our record label, and you know, so I think in LA and gang culture, Hustle just inspired everybody and led by example, and that's why, you know, the whole city saluted what he was doing.
Sam, talk to me about like the days of when y'all did start the T-shirts and things, and you know, opening up stores, always being entrepreneurs as well. You know, it's probably thinking about things we weren't even thinking about. You know what I'm saying? Like opening up stores. Like when did that start for you guys? When y'all started thinking, like, man, we wear T-shirts. You know what I'm saying? We need to sell them.
I think we was trying to get money, and you know, it was a lot going on, multiple arrests for myself, and I think me and Fats, man, we was selling T-shirts, and then we had the weed on the low. But the main reason for us being in the parking lot was like we're selling shirts, we're selling T-shirts, boxers. So it kind of started off kind of as a front, honestly.
Right.
And then we would have the movies, we would have the weed, but when the police pull up, we like, man, what's T-shirts? and we start seeing the demand.
Were y'all on the streets or y'all had brick and mortar at that time?
No, we was on the streets at this time.
Gotcha.
And we was in front of Louisiana Fried Chicken.
I know it well.
Check cashing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? All the homies used to stay there and sell dope at the check cashing. When everybody get their cashes, they check
First
cash.
person you see.
And so now we there too. And so, you know, we would get people cashing checks. They would come spend with us. T-shirts, the homies would buy shirts, and we start noticing that we short stopping the swap meet. Slauson swap meet.
Yeah.
We short stopping them now. Everybody coming buying their T-shirts from us. And it started turning into something. And we start selling out every day.
Y'all just had tables out there?
Yep, had a table, trunk, and then we'd go from the trunk back and forth and turn that spot into a money spot also. And then police start coming and start seizing our stuff.
Is this after your DVDs?
Yeah, this after that. So,
Got you.
You know, I couldn't go to that spot no more because it was done. And so now I'm like, we need to find another spot. We got blessed and found this spot, and it turned into something again. And obviously, same program. We there every day. I'm going, you know, Hussle, making his rounds, pulling up on us, chilling with us for a minute, going back, doing what he needed to do. He had spots, other spots everywhere. He was doing his music. And Fats, I used to pull up, knock on Fats' door. Hey, bro, come on, get him at 6 in the morning, and we'll just be there, bleeding it till like 12, midnight, 7 days a week. And, you know, we would have never stopped. Police came, kept coming. Finally, they came and they started seizing our clothes, taking everything. And I'm talking about back to back, we'll go spend $1,500 on just a gang of shirts. They'll come take it the next day. Take the next day. So we just getting defeated. Like, damn, we can't keep spending this shit, and they taking it. Talking about they giving us a ticket, and I think it was in a documentary, man. But I remember the one police officer. You know, we like, bro, it's a black officer. He be like, man, why you keep taking our shit, man? We selling shirts. He like, man, shut the fuck up. Y'all niggas wanna sell T-shirts, you know, go rent a building and pay lease like the rest of the tax-paying citizens. So I'm like, man, fuck you, man. So he ended up leaving. And so we sit on the curb, I'm mad, feeling defeated, and I just look up. And I'm looking across the street at the plaza, 3420, and I see a big-ass for lease sign. And so I was like, oh, that's God. You know what I'm saying? That's God. I called the number, and we end up getting that lease. And that was the first brick-and-mortar store we had called Slauson Tees.
And literally sitting there and looked over, and there it was.
Yep. And I was like, oh, that's a sign. So we got it, and same thing. We up early. We got the tables. We started off with one table in there with like a box of socks, because we spent everything trying to get the place. And then things start rolling again, and now we making money back, hands over fist. You know, the journey, it was always ups and downs. We up for a minute and then we down. We up for a minute, we down. But the key was just stay at it. And Slauson Tees turned into something just like crazy. We across the street, we had the homies across the street with the tables at the check cashing. We had them pointing to sending everybody traffic to us. And it was just ping pong. We running across the street. And you know, we had the movies, we had the weed, we had everything booming. People coming from every different neighborhood, all they girls coming to Crenshaw Slauson, pulling in the lot. Slauson Tees turned into something that was just like big, and it was bigger. And then Nip is doing music, and you know, anytime Nip would pull up, it's like Michael Jackson pulled up in the hood.
Gotcha.
Nip pull up, everybody pulling up. And this is before any deal, anything. We'll be like, bro, you gotta stop pulling up and hanging out in the front, man. You know, you got 100 Crips in the front, customers driving by scared to pull up. This is at that time.
So when you see that you guys are brick and mortar, things start going, that had to give you that bug of like, man, this is something that we can continue to do.
Yeah.
What did you learn early on when you go brick and mortar?
You know, we was no rules at that point.
Oh yeah.
So, you know, we was hungry, we was thirsty, we was doing everything. We had fake Louis bags, we had fake Lacoste shirts, we had the fake Nikes. Remember when the Jordans, everybody had, we had everything in there, and you know, we was thinking it was never gonna end. We was like, oh, this is crazy. We the store ended up making damn near like $4,000-5,000 a day, just cause we had the Jordans, we had the this, it was just, you know, and then we get hit. You know, we get hit hard too at this point. detectives.
Oh, shit.
Motion Picture Association come back on me right there. 77 Precinct. So they hit the shop. You know, it was multiple, you know.
You just saw different jackets.
Yeah.
Just reading it like, oh.
Yeah, I got stuck. That's what stuck me. That when they raided that got me stuck. I ended up, I was already out on joint suspension, had like 5 or 6 felony arrests that I was fighting, and then this one they came in, probation department came with them. They raided like it was 40 different police officers, and they got me. And so I ended up going, and I didn't get out. I was in for like 22 months. And when I get out, the shop is gone. We lost the shop.
So it's almost 2 years later.
2 years later. But Hussle got signed, and Hussle was in New York, and Hussle is in the magazines. And so my whole time in, I'm getting, you know, I'm feeling like, all right, I'm not even tripping. It's meant to be. I was out for as much as I was needed to try to help as much as I could, and then now bro got it from here. And transition has happened, you know what I'm saying? And, you know,
you were getting word that Nip was moving?
Yeah, he's sending me, you know, I'm on the phone with them every day. I'm hearing about it. He's sending me magazine articles. You know, I'm listening to the radio. You know, I see the music video, the first music video, Hustle in the House. So definitely, man, I'm in there just like, you know, pumped and happy. Like this little time ain't shit.
Do you know you're coming home to it, or did you think it moved past you?
Nah, I know I'm coming home to it. Yeah, I'm coming home to it. You know, and I wasn't doing a lot of time, so, you know, I think Hussle was his key was like, you gonna come home to something legit. So, you know, that was a blessing, and that's what I came home to. I came home to something legit that was like out of control. This is the time when Bullets Ain't Got No Names Volume 2 was out. So Nip was the hottest thing in the streets. Nip, New York buzz was going crazy, and you know, head on. My goal was, you know, obviously I can't be, you know, there with a handout or trying to like you know, take. So my goal was like, how do I, you know, do what I'm known to do, and that's try to add value to whatever is going on. So that was the mind state, and my goal was I need to get the shop back, and you know, we went through a couple of hurdles trying to get the shop back.
The same shop.
The same shop. You know, couple different little hurdles, but we ended up getting the shop next to it, bigger, and we turned that into Slauson Ave clothing. And from there, you know, Nip, the Hustle in the House video, the Crenshaw crew neck. Everybody was hitting the MySpace and hitting the articles, I mean, the social medias, and Adam and Nip I think Adam actually was like, man, everybody keep asking for this Crenshaw crew neck. So I'm like, huh? I'm like, hold on, what you talking about? He like, yeah, the sweater Nip had on in the Hustle in the House video, everybody on here, that's what they, man, where can I buy one, where can I buy one? So I'm like, all right, that's it right there. That's all I need to hear. That's God. Once again, like, okay, so me and Fats, we about to make these. So we went and we reproduced the custom Crenshaw crew neck and the hoodies, and we back across the street at the table, you know, and from there we were able to get the unit and turn that into Slauson Ave, you know what I mean? And then it's the same thing, ping pong, and that shit turned into something bigger than the first one, and but the only difference is now instead of selling fake shit, we selling our own shit. And you know, we creating a brand, and Hussle, you know, is putting it on his back. Every video, people come through, he's branding it, he's getting people to come and support, and you know, he made that sweater even more iconic. And when you see a Crenshaw crew neck or a hoodie or a shirt, you think of Hussle.
Yeah, man.
And so, you know, from there, Hussle's goal was like, we got to create a clothing brand. And, you know, what was birthed was the Marathon clothing. You know, after his mixtape, the Marathon Continues, the TMC. I was like, TMC, Marathon Continues, man. Hold on, Marathon clothing. So we all go high-fiving because we don't know what to call it. And that was it. And one of the things was, you know, while the sweater and the crew necks is getting famous, everybody start bootlegging our shit.
Oh.
And so we like, man, how do we stamp like that it's
now
official?
You wanna,
yeah, you know what I'm saying? How do
you
we,
were the guy at first, huh? Now you all tripping.
Right, I said we gotta respect the game. You know, they bootlegging our shit,
but not too much.
Right? How do we stamp it? Hustle like, nah, we gon' if the tag ain't marathon, the Crenshaw crew neck is a knockoff, and that was genius. And so now people like, yeah, that's if it ain't got the marathon on it, it ain't the real one. Yep. And you know, and it was off to the races, man, and you know, just direction from Hustle, you know, always. I remember he had some people come through with cameras in the shop. And you know, me, I'm in the shop, man, who was all these people, all these white dudes with cameras, man? What's he like? Nah, they cool, bro. So I'm looking, they taking pictures. It end up being the Hundreds. Maybe I talked to Bobby Hundred. He like, I'm doing a blog. I want to come to the area. I want to drive around with you. I want to come to your shop. And so, you know, initially I'm like, man, we don't need all these dudes in here taking pictures, man. The next day, we had surfers, we had white dudes coming through. We seen so much traffic. Everybody was coming to the shop trying to get a Crenshaw hoodie or Crenshaw crew neck. And so I was just like, man, Hustle. I'm telling him, he's like, I told you, bro.
He knew it, huh?
He knew it. And it just turned into, you know, it just kept going to something big, and Hustle's like, yeah, we need a branded store. We need a store called the Marathon Store. And it needs to be like, you know, our version of the Sanrio. We need to create products. The Marathon Store needs to create, you know, Marathon clothing products, the Marathon branded products. You know, he was talking, I want a branded money machine. He was just, you know, giving us the ideas, and we taking notes like, all right. And so, you know, I want to have a Marathon water. I want to have he's just telling us like, you know, and we start seeing the vision like, okay, all right, this is something big. And, you know, little by little, you know, we was just stacking the money, Hustle, stacking the bread, and contributing, like, bro, put this towards this, put this toward this. And, you know, the people supported, and, you know, the brand was built by the people, man. Just the area, anybody would come from out of town, they would always want to come and support. And so we were able to open that the Marathon Store, the official.
Do you know what's crazy about even just Marathon and Crenshaw? Like, Crenshaw was already famous. People knew Crenshaw, you know, movies and all the wall. But y'all made Crenshaw worldwide.
Yeah.
And it's crazy, man, because I know that you've seen people that look like they wouldn't even know about Crenshaw. Sam, we're taking a brand now, and that you see is worldwide. You got an amazing crew. You know, you can't even say staff. You know what I'm saying? You got you have an amazing crew at that time, bro. Did you ever feel like, man, this is really happening? Not were you surprised by how big things were becoming, but did you always envision that either your little bro was gonna be this guy, or did you always envision that there was something bigger for you guys together, or you couldn't see what this either was becoming or what it is now?
I think definitely never, me personally, I never envisioned that, you know, it was gonna become, you know, where Hustle took it, I had no clue. But I always felt like we was gonna be good because we was hustling. And we was gonna, regardless, we were gonna have. That was for me, that was the thing, like, we wanna make sure we have, we wanna make sure the family got.
Got it.
Like, Granny getting a new Jaguar. Mom's gotta get a Benz.
Yeah.
Pops gotta get a BMW, you know, and get some jewelry. And
y'all were able to do those things.
Yeah, that was the, for us, young, growing up, that was like, you made it.
Yeah.
So, now, when you in that, reality hits. Like, okay, hold on, how this can't last. How do I legitimize, or what is the next level? Because it's nothing, you know, it's the foundation of what we doing. It doesn't last when you're doing anything illegal or you're on the street. So with that, I think Hustle had the vision, and Hustle was like, nah, this is what we gonna do. And every time Hustle would lead the way, and I remember Hustle telling, like, this clothing gonna be big. It's gonna be one of the biggest things we do watch. And just hustle, just having the script. Like, man, we gonna stay independent with the music. We gonna have a label, and I'm gonna always have my masters, and just hustle.
How do you know that so early on, man? Especially in a time where everybody's like, man, I gotta be on Def Jam, I gotta be on this, I gotta be on that, whatever the label is.
Right.
How did you guys had a wherewithal like, no, we gotta own the masters? We hear a lot of that now.
Right.
And at some point, man, you just want to get in so bad that you'll take anything.
Yep.
What made him or you guys decide like, no, we got to do it our way?
I think that was hustle, man. That was hustle. He educated himself always, and I think he read a lot of books. And I remember him telling me like, look, this is what, and also him trying to involve us and others. I think his what's the word I'm looking for, man? The way he wanted to build something that other people could be involved in. So if he was thinking solely for himself, maybe he would have been like, oh, I need a deal.
Right.
But he was like, look, this is how y'all could add value. This is how y'all could have ownership. This is how we could get in business. Yeah, I do music and I'm an artist, but we gonna start a label. And this is how Master P did it. This is how Cash Money did it. This is how Jay and them did it. So it was examples. And he just wasn't saying like this is how they did it. He had the details. He had books. He had, look, this is the split. This is the type of deal. This is who they did it with. And so, he's lacing us and making us believe and giving us value. Like, okay, shit, yeah, we don't do music, but we can be in the music business and we can create a company. He formed the companies. He like, look, I incorporated this, and he had business cards, and he had the vision for the markets that he wanted to, go at. And he like, we're gonna put posters up and we're gonna sew up our area first. And then after that, we're gonna go to here and go to here. And, I think anybody that talked to him and saw how sharp he was and educated he was like, all right, along with the talent, but they was like, all right, now he's not just an artist. He's a businessman and he knows what he wants. And I think that's why everything he said he was gonna do, he was able to accomplish it.
Yeah, man. It was times, bro, where he'd tell me about, but Big, have you read this book? Have you, other people asking, have you went to this restaurant? Have you tried this? And it was always a book. I remember we did that cruise, and everybody else was throwing pool parties and this, that, and the other, and he did like just a seminar where he just talked about business.
Dope.
You know what I'm saying? And opening up. And it was times, bro, away from the radio stations and away from, the limelight, just the conversations that I would have. And you gotta think, bro, like, I'm damn near 20 years senior, but I'm listening to bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm listening because when a wise man speaks. Yep. And you guys trusted that, and you also understood, like, man, we can add value to this as well. And just a good team of people working for a real common cause, bro.
Yeah.
And you look at when you say the Master P's, the Cash Moneys, the Rockefellers, those are things that you had a chance to look at, and then you guys become that, where you give other people, I know you had to see other people with hope that, man, we doing the same thing.
Yep, 100%. And one thing we used to always, with Hustle, he was always willing, and I think he, his driving force was to inspire people, and so, honestly speaking, I'm very territorial, like, hold on, like, it's a good idea, like, hold on, don't get that idea, like, that's us, we gotta do this, and Hustle would, always, like, we ain't even, you just told us about this, we still working on it, and you telling the next person, or you telling the next person, you telling Hustle, be like, nah, bro, it's cool, we gonna, get a game, and, we gonna be good, but he always wanted to
share the wealth, share the wealth, share the knowledge.
Yep, and that's one thing that we used to laugh and joke, like, oh, bro, don't. But when you look back and take a step back, man, it was a quality that definitely other people appreciated, and I myself had to be like, man, Hustle was just, his goal and his purpose, like, he really wanted to always inspire, and then he also got a kick out of seeing somebody achieve. Like, he loved it, and I think that made him feel good.
Hey man, I remember even the Smart Store when y'all opened up the Marathon Smart Store.
Yep.
I was like, what the fuck is a Smart Store?
Yep.
And early on, we were talking like, yeah, you can come in and you can point your phone at this. And I'm like, what? And then is it Idris?
Yep.
Idris Sandu.
Yep.
I remember, man, when he told us the story about how he met him, he said he was like, went to go get a green juice and
Yep.
Idris was in there and he said, man, I just kept walking past, bro. That he was doing something with his hands and making things move. But even just to tap in to something like that so early, bro.
Yep.
When and peep it and understand, man, this is the next thing. And now you'll see certain things now, man. Like Nip was on before we even had the scans where everything could just be scanned. Now everything is scanned like that. And when you talk about a Smart Store, bro, nobody was thinking about that.
Man, I'm gonna tell you a story, man. That goes to hustle genius. You know, we scrambling, trying to get the store open. And we did like a little mini doc and we made sure the store was filled up with clothes and we trying to, you know, fold them correctly and make sure it's clean. And we finally ready, probably like a week and a half before the grand opening, or maybe like 2 weeks. And we doing our countdown. And Hustle like, yeah, man, I just met this guy at the Starbucks. I was going to get a tea or something and I seen him and I'm like, huh? He like, yeah, we about to make the store a Smart Store. So I'm like, what? I'm like, no, we don't got time for that. I don't even know what, like you say, I don't know what is the Smart Store. He's like, no, trust me, bro. So I'm pulling my hair out. I'm mad, like, man, what is this? And so I meet Idris and he's telling me this and I'm like, bro, we don't got time. And so we end up, he get it and he make everything. He go in and he integrate it with the clothing and, you know, geofence it. And then so I'm learning things that I had no clue about. And in hindsight, looking now, when that store opened and it was the first Smart Store, and that's why I just like, Hustle, the genius of Hustle, man, and so many different things like that he's done. But it's always, you know, driven from his vision, and he got the right vision. And, you know, to this day, people still talk about that Smart Store.
Oh yeah, bro.
And just him seeing Idris and seeing him young, black, dope at technology, and wanting to do something with him and wanting to, you know, have him a part of the store grand opening, and then him also, you know, just being excited to see Idris keep taking it to the next level. You know, that was something that, like I say, man, that really drove Hustle.
What made you guys want to like really do business and be a part of the community as well?
I think, you know, instinctively, that's that corner, Crenshaw Slauson. You know, we used to walk from my mom's house to the bus stop on Crenshaw Slauson in front of the Shell when we was little and catch the bus to Watts, school bus. There was a Shell's, the gas station there, and I remember when we found out that the owner was a black man. Fucked us up. We was little. We never thought like a black person could own a gas station. And so he was there and he would fuck with us like, what's up, man? What's up? He was cool. He coached basketball and he liked us because we used to go in there, backpack empty, no books, buy all the 25-cent bags of hot Cheetos, fill the backpack up, go to school, sell them for 50 cents. And we used to come every day, be like, man, y'all getting all the chips and no books. So he kind of took a liking to us, but that's when we thought, you know, ownership from back then. And fast forward, that parking lot behind the Shell is where the shop is. Yeah. Hustle, we used to be in there hustling when it was an abandoned building. And then he sold his first mixtape in there. And then we were across the street hustling. And for us to be able to get the shop in that parking lot, it meant everything because we grew up in that parking lot, in that area. And by us getting the shop, the community supported young, old, people that may have looked at us and been like frowning upon us. At this time, like, man, I'm proud of y'all, man. Y'all got a business, and they made sure that they came and supported. So the significance of that area and being there, and all the money that was spent with us, they saw what it was turning into. So everybody, from the aunties, the grandmas, you know, to the homies, coming spending money. They seen we took it and we flipped it, and we took it and we flipped it, and they saw what the support, you know, what we did with the support. And it was key for Hustle that he stayed and we opened the first Marathon store there. Right there. Because there was a lot going on, man. Police, you know, I'm going to jail, everybody going to jail, they raiding the shop. So at one point it was, you know, like, man, we need to get a shop on Fairfax. We need to open this marathon store. Like, when we do the marathon store, it need to be somewhere where we ain't got to worry about this. You know, we get into it with the homies sometimes, and you know, all type of stuff. We may need to do that, but Hussle was adamant, like, nah, that's store number 2. Store number 1, we got to open up on Crenshaw Slauson. And I think number 1, it was because he wanted to inspire and wanted to show people, like, nah, like I'm from this area and I'm doing something big here and I'm investing here. And number 2, you know, it was an obligation because, you know, we was made and the brand was built from the people's support. So
it was very necessary.
Yeah.
Did the owner of the show ever know that those were the same kids on the other side of the alley?
Man, I don't know. I don't know, because he ended up selling it. I don't know, but I hope so. If he seen Hussle, he probably could put 2 and 2. And some of the employees, you know, he hired all the young, you know, 20-year-olds from the area. Mm-hmm. So the homegirls was in there working, and some of the homies, when we was younger, we knew that they had jobs. And so I'm sure if they had contact with him, they let him know.
Were you ever concerned about how accessible you guys were?
I mean, yes and no. Mm-hmm. Just every day, we know where we at.
Right.
So we was always, you know, had to be aware and be on point, dealing with all the different things that go on with, you know, being in the hood. But I think I always felt that, you know, God was protecting, and basically we felt like nothing could happen, like, because we've been through too much, so many different crazy circumstances where, you know, we felt like as long as we do the right thing and we keep pushing forward with the positive, niggas can't, like, it's nothing that could happen. So that was the honest thought, you know, and you know, it's hindsight, man. Just, you never understand.
Man, I think as a partner, as someone from the outside looking in, right? I remember just what that day felt like when Nip passed. My mom passed on March 31st as well, right? So literally, I went to my mom's grave and I was doing a comedy show probably like the night or 2 before. And I wanted Nip to record me a drop, like, oh, go see Big Boy's comedy show. He didn't get around to it. So literally on the way home, I was like, man, when I get home, I'm gonna call him like, oh, it's successful, and, you know, and do what we usually do, bro. And when I got to the house, I remember my man Fuzzy, he had hit me up and he said, man, I'm over here by Marathon. He said, something's going on over here. He said, they got it blocked off. And I was like, man, I said, he said, I'm gonna try to get closer. And when he called me back, he said, man, they're saying something happened with Nip. What was that day like for you, bro? And did you feel any premonitions before we lost Nip?
No, 100%, man. I think, man, we just, it's my cousin's birthday, so the night, I want to say the night before, Nip took us to Wally's, Beverly Hills, me, Pops, and Adam, my cousin Adam, and just had a long talk with bro, you know, not to get into too much detail, but there was a lot of big politics getting into it with certain people. You know, Hussle had DJ Khaled in the hood. Not to be speaking too much on shit, but we came frontline like we always do, and, you know, niggas gonna know we gonna crash out behind it. We not playing, ain't nobody saying nothing to Khaled, ain't nobody doing nothing to Khaled, and he's straight, and Hussle frontline that. And, you know, we felt like certain people didn't like that. And did the video. Khaled got out of there perfect and smooth, and, you know, we appreciated Khaled for showing up and coming to the hood and doing the video. And, you know, we knew that this was gonna be one of them videos, man. Hussle brought DJ Khaled to the hood, and you know, had John Legend in the other scene. So we at Wally's, and we just chopping it up about a lot of shit, man. Just you know, making sure that we on point in security, and when we pull up, it's, you know, we like, Hussle, when you pull up to the shop, call us. He like, bro, I'm not calling you niggas when I pull up. I'm not calling you niggas when I pull up. And we like arguing and just, you know, but turned into, you know, a little bit of that, and then back to the, you know, celebrating bro Adam's birthday, and Hussle got us the back room, and you know, family there chopping it, and just us four, and we stayed there forever, man. And when he walked out, we all walked out the back room of Wally's. I think Rivera, one of the guys that filmed the video, just happened to be there. And so he see us walking out, he's like, oh, Hussle, what's up? And he like, man, what's going on? He like, bro, they just sent me the first edit of the video. And so he pulled it up, and he like, man, look at this, bro. You look amazing, bro. You about to do movies after this. Look at this shot. And so Hussle seen it, and Hussle was smiling. Hussle was happy. He seen the shots of the video. He's like, man, he's telling him like, bro, ain't no more small time shit, man. After this, nigga, your shit going out the roof. And so, you know, we was all happy and shook hands with them, and then we left. And that was the last interaction, bro.
And that was the night before? The night before,
Saturday.
And so Sunday, what was that morning like for you, Sam?
Sunday, it's regular Sunday, man. I think we had spots in the hood. So one of the spots we had a little weed spots, 24-hour spot. And I think it was my boy who usually do one of the shifts. I had to cover one of the shifts. And so I was in it. I think I was in it all night. And the morning shift came in, and I ended up leaving. And so my goal was to go to the house and sleep a couple hours, and then go back to the shop and close the shop up for the rest of the night. So I'm at Granny's house, sleep on the floor, and this phone just going crazy, man. It woke me up, and I picked the phone up, and they, you know, forget who called me, man. I just hear people screaming in the background, and they like, man, you know, bro got shot. So I just immediately just run out the house, and jet out the door. My grandma was in the living room watching TV, so she seen me run out, didn't close the door, just got in the car. My grandma's on 5th in Slauson, so the shop is maybe like 6 blocks away. So I just ran every light, every stop sign, and get there, and man, it's just going crazy, man. You know, everybody screaming, and I just see bro, and I'm just, you know, it's fucked up, but bro still breathing. I think Kev Mack was like talking to him and trying to tell him, you know, breathe, stay with, just breathe, bro. So I'm looking, trying to, you know, we need to figure this shit out. So somebody had the, I think, ambulance on the phone, and everybody screaming. I was just like, man, shut the fuck up, man. It's just like, you know, take the phone, and I'm trying to talk to the ambulance. They say they coming, and they telling me, you know, I'm asking them like what do we need to be doing? And so they telling me to try to administer CPR on bro, and asking me, is he breathing? I'm like, yeah, he's still breathing, you know. And just try to do the best that we could. And finally, you know, police came and ambulance came, and they took him. And so I'm just praying, you know, I had faith that bro was gonna be all right, and you know. And I had a lot of people shot in that parking lot. And we, you know, I done drove multiple people to the hospital, and, you know, I'm like, man, if anybody make it, bro gonna make it for sure. And that was the ride to the hospital, man, just praying, and, you know, I was confident bro was gonna be good, man. And just couldn't understand it, man. Just like the Twilight Zone after that. Everything I believed in, or my faith in, shattered. But
did you get word like right then? Did you follow?
Yeah, followed the ambulance and I think got out, and so I was trying to go to the doctors and ambulance. I think J-Rock, one of the ambulance told J-Rock something. And he came to me. I'm like, no, I'm not trying to hear that, man. I'm trying to figure it out and go talk to them and then go to the doctors. And then my mom and family was there, and then everybody screaming, and just walked out. It's fucked up, but.
When you walked out, you knew then?
Yeah. Yep. Yep. You know, still can't understand it, honestly. Just it's Twilight Zone, man. Don't understand. Shook my whole belief in whatever I believed in, and you know.
Man, that's one of those, it's wild too, because we thought we had it like rough that day.
Right.
But when we started hearing calls, or we started piecing things together, man, and the first thing I thought, you know, you started thinking about family. You know, of course you pop up, then I'm hearing certain things, and I was like, man, was Jay there? Because I knew we had heard it was a couple people, and I was like, when I called Jay, when he didn't answer, I immediately put him there too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I would always see them together, you know, and it's crazy because we never had a chance to talk, but I didn't know that y'all had that much conversation even the night before.
Yep.
About, man, you know, we gotta move a little different. You know, we gotta make sure that security's on set, and, you know, bro doing his regular routine.
Yep.
You know, like at home, you know. With that, bro, it's like, not what is the first thing that you do, man, but where's headspace, man? Because it's hard to just not, you know, either throw it all away or give it all up.
Right.
You know, because we got Nip as friend, music, whatever it may be. You know, y'all sharing bedrooms, that's like me and my bro.
Right.
You know, at some point, do you feel like any of this is worth it, or were you ready to throw it all away?
Oh, no, man. Not 100%, like, crash out, broad daylight, whoever. And, you know, we start figuring out who the streets was saying it was, and you know, that's what the whole unit was like. Where's this nigga at? Mm-hmm. And you know, that was the mind space at that point.
Yeah. Aside
from just dealing with, you know, the reality, you know, but it was go time, man, and. You know, they're gonna make sure the kids is good, make sure his kids is good, and make sure we keep going.
Is it as random as what the public thought it was? Like, Nip seen somebody, Eric, and talked, and...
I mean, you know, he already got convicted, so for me, without going into too many details, mm-hmm. Somebody come to the shop. They know we in the doorway. When Hussle pull up, we in the doorway. You gonna see me with a hoodie on, and I got a pistol on me. You gonna see one of the team members in the hoodie in the doorway with a pistol. That's protocol when Hussle pull up. So it's Sunday. It's busy in there. Why the niggas in there didn't follow the protocol? I wasn't there. Why they didn't follow it? Maybe they was fucking around helping the customer, doing some fucking customer service. This is what I'm thinking, trying to, you know, transition into some legitimate selling clothes. But nobody was in the doorway. And from my understanding, old boy walked up with no shirt on first to check the scene, because he know what's going on in that parking lot. And had a conversation, probably seen nobody was in the doorways, checked Hussle had on shorts, checked everybody else, left. They say came back with a red shirt on, tiptoed through the alley, and went right and started shooting. So to me, that's premeditated. Number one, there's no red shirts in the hood. You can't buy no red shirt. No liquor store sell no red shirt. Number two, when a nigga come through the alley with a red shirt, that's the throw off, or the Bloods did it, or the Inglewood families did it, or the BPS, that's the throw off, red shirt. So for me, he felt he was supposed to do a job, or somebody sent him or whatever, and he was nervous. He was supposed to hit that alley with that red shirt immediately, but he didn't do that. He came in and he wanted to check the scene. He wanted to make sure he wasn't getting into a shootout. And that's my thoughts on it. You understand? So, and can't nobody tell me nothing about that, because it just don't make no sense. It's not random, you know. I know Hussle. You know, ain't nobody gonna say nothing crazy to Hussle, because they know what come with it. No matter what age you are, niggas ain't saying nothing crazy to Hussle, wherever you find him at. But on Crenshaw Slauson, definitely you're not saying nothing crazy. You're gonna come, you're gonna tuck your tail and be humble, and if not, you're getting beat up on the spot. And we done did it a million times. Hussle done did it a million times. So the fact that he left tell me everything I need to know. It was no argument. You know, it was no sense of threat. Because with that come, like, hey, be on deck.
Yeah,
It was none of that. It was just, you know, to me it was, let me come through, let me see what's going on, and then let me, you know, in this broad daylight, man, and it's, you know, it's a lot of unanswered questions, man.
You don't believe he had any dialogue with Nip that day, or did anybody say he said something?
Yeah, no, they had dialogue, but it was in the mix of him coming up, talking to bro, and, you know, whatever transpired, it wasn't an aggressive dialogue. It was just maybe small talk, and then maybe people saying Nip brought something up to him. Okay, he may have, but it wasn't. To me, that don't. Whatever the dialogue was, that didn't justify, or that didn't turn into that. You know what I'm saying? He came there for a reason, and May got the reverses. I mean, he got the, you know, charges reversed, because Hussle asked him something about it and humbled him real quick. But I think, you know, it's gonna come to the light.
Did you know Eric Holder before?
Yeah, we probably seen him a couple times when he was younger. You know, he hadn't been in the hood like that. They're saying he had some like a snitch jacket on him, or he couldn't come around. You know, me personally, Hussle, Fats, like we seen a lot of the homies raised, because we at that shop 7 days a week. Mm-hmm. You know, before it was the Marathon store, when it was Slauson Tees, Slauson Ave, we had weed spots all in the hood. So we seen a lot of the young homies raised, from kids to teenagers to adults. We watched them. They know us. We know them. Anything we throw in the parking lot, if you from that area, if you from the 60s, if you from the 30s to the 100s, when Hussle throw something in that parking lot, you coming. From whatever it is. You in the hood, you smoking weed, you coming to our spots. He was never at any functions. He was never at any grand openings. He was never at anything Hussle was doing. He was never at any shows. It's because he wasn't good in the hood. So all this other shit niggas is talking about, I don't know it. He wasn't good, you know. He wasn't good, and he was not good, and he was not around for a reason. You know, and to that point, we didn't see him.
Hey, Sam, why was it important to you and to the family to make sure that LA had a chance? And the world, really, because I was people flying in from Japan, Germany.
Right.
Why did y'all feel that you wanted to make sure that you did it at, was it Staples? At Staples Center, and take Nip, you know, through every neighborhood? Why was it important for you to share that with us? Honestly,
it was God. It wasn't, you know, it was Hussle and God, because we were just, you know, going through it. Obviously, man, we gotta get this funeral handled the right way, and we're trying to hit churches and, you know, black churches, black preachers, and nope.
They were afraid to touch it?
So we couldn't find a venue. And so that we just like, this is crazy, man. And I think Karen Civil came and was like, we gonna figure this out. And she reached out and ended up like, man, we got the Staples Center on deck. And I think, you know, LeBron and Live Nation, you know, Rock Nation, everybody pulled their resources together and made phone calls. And, you know, after weeks and weeks of like, we can't get a venue, like, look, this is, we got the Staples for bro. And so at that point, it was like, all right, man, we gotta make sure we do this the right way for bro. And just trying to plan it, and people came and supported and helped plan it and, you know, make it happen. Definitely the family was appreciative of that. And just driving through the city, man, I think, you know, I know how much, you know, the city meant to bro and how much bro meant to the city. And we like, man, we gonna drive through all of LA, through everybody hood in LA. And, you know, so much, you know, pushback, like, nah, we can't do that. Police, you know, we're not giving y'all an escort. Man, fuck y'all, we don't need y'all escort, man. You know, it's gonna be too many problems going through different people's neighborhoods. I'm like, man, we gonna go through every neighborhood in LA and nothing's gonna happen. Watch. Mm-hmm. People gonna be out there salute, because.
And we did, bro.
Yep, 100%.
Did you feel like you were just on automatic? Like you weren't in the moment? Did you just feel like you were just kind of floating through it?
You know, it was just, you know, hardest time in my life, and for the family and everybody, man. But, you know, it's just, you gotta follow through, man, and you know, send bro home the right way. And, you know, to this day, man, it still seemed like not real that bro was gone, but at that time, yeah, it was, you know, hard, man, you know. One thing I tell people, man, you know, I never done drugs in my life. I never thought about doing drugs, because I seen, you know, I had uncles, and I always, drunk grandfather, I always was like, man, I'll never be that, you know. So I don't smoke, you know, I'm anti. It's the only time in my life that I ever just thought about like doing drugs, because I can't deal with it. You know? So
make it go away.
Yeah, so there's no way to handle it. So, you know, didn't, but that was the only time in my mind. I'm like, okay, this is why niggas. This is when a nigga can't deal with this shit. Like, there's no way to fix this. This is the hopelessness. That's the feeling at that point.
Is it kind of like the gift and the curse too, Sam, where you're reminded all the time, and that's love.
Right.
But even when you go by and you see like a mural, you know.
Right.
There's no day where because it's gonna be on you every day anyway.
Yeah.
But there's no day that it's not a video, a picture, a song on the radio, somebody rocking the merchandise, a mural, you know, that, not that becomes kind of normal to you, but how do you deal with that? one moment at a time?
Yep. I think, you know, the murals, you know, I'm happy when I see bro on the murals, you know. You know, even shirts, man, I'm happy when I see, you know, bro, because I know his goal was to inspire and, you know, that's like proof. You know what I'm saying? Excuse me. That's the proof that he did what he wanted to do. You know, I used to be like, man, we gotta get to the money and, you know, get this shit. And he like, yeah, we gonna get to the money, bro, but this shit bigger than that. So, I think, my bad, bro, I think yeah, that's just a reminder, like bro lived his purpose. So it's a good thing. Hard things probably is like people trying to take pictures, and that shit never easy. Because I don't, you know, I never been taking pictures. And so when people, like, that's a hard thing for me.
With you?
Yeah, right. That's the hard thing, because it's like, I know that's when it's like, okay, I know why. Like, man. But obviously you understand why, so they're showing love to bro. So it's like, okay, come on. But that for me, that's the going through day, and then somebody, oh, bro, that just brings me back into the mode, like, all right. That, for me, I'll never be able to deal with. I'll never get used to that.
Yeah. When Nip says the marathon continues, that really means something. Either different today, or there's so much that's valid to those words, bro. Why is it important? And I mean, just the work that you guys been doing collectively with keeping the brands and ownership and taking care of the kids and the family, you know. With the marathon continues, why is that so important to you, Sam?
When I hear other people say it, marathon continues, you know, I appreciate it. You know, for me, I can't say the marathon continues. Just for me, I can't, because bro not here. So it's hard for me to say, but when I hear other people say it, I like it, and you know, it'll never be the same without bro here. But like you said, man, us trying to just continue things that he started and wanted to accomplish. I think it's our duty, man. Get this documentary out, get it done correctly. You know, obviously his kids, my niece and nephew, you know, make sure they understand who their dad fully was and what he did, and also, you know, the fruits of his labor, and making sure that they have, I think is the mission. You know, make sure that they got everything that they need, and you know. So I take comfort in knowing that, you know, we working and we building, and this is something that their father, you know, started, and that they have, and they're gonna take over, pass down to them.
Do you still hear Nip or any words?
Yeah, 100%, man. I hear, you know, every second, man, every day, 100%. Yep.
Man, well, I know we're talking about the documentary that's coming, man. You know, the legacy.
Yep.
You know, I feel like, Sam, you've been protecting it so well, and not making sure that it didn't get into the wrong hands, that there's nothing goofy, you know, as much as we love Nip, there's nothing like brotherly love, bro. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, just to even get up every day is, I'm pretty sure at times it is, and I know it had to be extremely hard because I know what loss is too.
Yep.
And man, like, bro, I really thank you for sitting down with us, man.
Come on, thank you.
You know, and I know, like I said, when we first started off, this is something that you do.
Right.
And it took me some time to even want to, like, man, not even, oh, I need the interview, I need to sit down, but I just wanted to talk to you, you know, and I thank you for allowing me to sit with you and you to be this comfortable with me, bro.
Come on.
You know, on and off, we've had a chance to talk about you being comfortable, Nip loving what we do as well, man, and I want to be a part of preserving that legacy and continuing that legacy, man, and Sam, thank you for your time, bro.
Come on, 100% Big. You know, since day one, you know, you've been supporting Hussle, us. You know, we was little listening to you, so it's an honor, and, you know, definitely Hussle loves you and had a lot of respect, and definitely appreciate you, all the support, and, you know, 100%. I'm honored to be, you know, on this with you, man. So thank you, bro. For sure.
And I was talking about this box right here, man. Those boxes, when I flipped the box open I saw that I was in the box.
Right.
Bro, I showed that shit to my wife, Sam, and I was like, I know there's a billion pictures. A billion pictures, bro. And to get in that box, man, is like, you can't tell me shit, bro.
Come on, you part of the story, man. You part of the history.
Ribbon, you know what I'm saying, man? So continue, bro, and you know you got my support and my love all the time, Sam.
Come on, man. Definitely appreciate you always.
Being off air with me, bro. I appreciate and love you, man.
Likewise, man.
Bro.
Thank you.
Once again.
Respect.
All the time.
Always.